Young cause they want more from me.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Back with another tutorial. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys some of the techniques that were used in that Boogie with the Hoodie drowning music video, super popular music video that's out. I think it's one of the coolest little music video productions I've seen in the past year. So obviously that clip that I just showed you isn't 100% like the music video. I need you guys to keep in mind that there was tens of thousands of dollars behind that production, as well as hours and hours and hours of attention to detail, as well as work, maybe even an entire team working on this. But I still can show you guys some tips and tricks you guys can do at your house if you guys are editing, if you guys would like to create this kind of like cool underwater type of look. And I'm just going to show you guys some footage of how I shot this. I'm going to show you guys how to correctly color grade to get this underwater type of look, and then I'm going to show you guys how to go into After Effects and then create this kind of like nice watery background to make it really look like he's underwater with the correct lighting. Alright, so anyways, enough talking. Let's go into the very first effect that we want to talk about, and this is probably the most important effect. This is actually syncing the video and the audio in slow motion so that you can get this kind of like underwater kind of like dreamy kind of look. So there's actually a few little tutorials on YouTube on how to actually do this. There's one by cinecom, there's also one by ycimaging. Both of them are actually explained very well, but I actually have some tips that I use to be able to create this effect in an easier way. So if I play this out real quick, you can just see what I'm talking about. The clip is kind of like slow motion, but his voice is still synced to the audio. I'll show you right now.
I'm gone, 'cause they want more from me.
So the way we're going to be doing that is we're actually going to be using an app called Speed Pitch. If you guys go and look up on your app store Speed Pitch, you'll be able to figure this out. And all this does is you just pick a song from your iTunes library, and then you can speed it up by either 150%, 200%, just speed it up, slow it down, and then play the song. So the reason why we're going to be doing this, what we're going to do is we're going to take the song and we're going to speed it up to 150% through that app. We're then going to play the song, and the artist is going to lip sync, sped up with the song, and then we're going to take that, put it into post, and sync it up. So that might seem complicated. I'll link you guys to the two videos down below, but I'm going to show you guys a quick tip on how I did it because I feel like it's a little bit confusing. So like I said, let me just repeat myself for those that might have been a little bit lost. You're going to download that app called Speed Pitch, and then you're going to have your artist perform to that sped up kind of song. Then this is what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and bring in our original footage right here, and then I'm going to bring in our song after that. Let me just show you exactly what I'm really talking about. As you can see, I also had him clap there just so I can sync the audio easier just whenever that clap starts. Alright, clap loudly.
What is that?
So as you see in this little clip right here, he messed up once, so we had to do it like 2 times, but it really wasn't that hard, and I actually am glad I learned how to do this effect because I think it's something that's really cool and can add a whole different layer of depth into your music video, so I'm definitely going to be doing that in the future. But anyways, let me just show you guys how to sync this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut it right before the music starts. So right about here, I'm going to click Control K and just cut off that edge, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring in my original song like this. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on this clip, I'm going to right click it, and I'm going to go to speed duration. I'm going to make the speed and duration of this 66.6. So the reason why I made it 66.6 is because originally I played it out at 150%. But I'm going to put this on the screen right now, just basically explaining how you can do it. For this look, I did 150%. I think that looks best, so if you are working on 150%, just slow it down to 66.6% and it'll work the same. Alright, so now all we do is just make sure that his voice is completely synced. So what I did is I'm just going to make a cut at one part, and then I'm going to listen to this other audio track and then make a cut at the same part. So right here, and then I just have to take this and align them, and now they should be perfectly synced. So I'll play that. And as you can see, his lips are synced pretty well, and that actually looks really cool. Like I said, that cool slow motion kind of like dreamy but still lip synced. I think that looks really good. And like I said, to get that nice smooth slow motion, make sure you're shooting this at a high frame rate. If you do it this way, you can use any higher frame rate. I shot this in 120 frames per second just to give you guys an example, and some of the other video tutorials talking about how to lip sync, they shoot it at different frame rates. So like I said, those will be linked below if this was confusing and you'd like to have another perspective on how to do this. But that's really how I did it. Alright, so now we've got our sync clip. Now what we can do is we can actually apply a color grade in Adobe Premiere. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply a quick little LUT to this. So I'll click on it. I'm going to go to Creative and then Look and then Browse. If you guys would like to see more about this, you can go and look up my color grading tutorial where I talk about how to color grade using the Lumetri color panel as well as applying LUTs. And then what I'm going to do is click basic correction. I'm going to take the temperature and so I'm going to drop that down all the way to 100. I'm going to make the contrast around -4. I'm also going to bump the blacks up by around 12. And then I'm going to make the saturation around 60 just to give it that kind of colorless underwater type feel. Okay, so now I'm going to go over to my curves panel, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this white line here and just drag that up a tiny bit, just make it a little bit brighter, bring out those highlights in his face. Then I'm going to click on the blue color panel, and I'm actually going to drag the blues up a tiny bit just like that. We're getting a nice little look here. Make sure it isn't up too much. You want to have that nice kind of mixture of like blue and teal, and whenever we go through the After Effects and apply the other stuff, we'll be able to finalize the nice blue color that we want. Alright, next go to Hue Saturation Curve. It's right under your curves. Just take that and drag that a little bit in the teal section. And now we're going to go over to our color wheels. We're just going to apply a mid-tone of like this nice blue around here. You can also change around the slider just to get a nice look, and I recommend that you really just play around with these and just try and get a nice underwater look that you think looks best. I'm also going to add a nice little dark blue into the highlights. And I think that looks really good. That's definitely something we can work off. Now all we have to do is just go into After Effects and apply all of the effects to be able to get it looking like it's underwater. Alright, anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to bring this into After Effects real quick. So now we're going to be trying to get that look where he's underwater with like the water above his head. We'll have nice blue in the distance. And the way we're going to be doing that is you can actually do this a few different ways. So like I said, with the high production value of the original drowning video, they probably filmed a lot of those scenes actually underwater with just like cages around their cameras. They also could have done some keying where they filmed him in front of a green screen or in a studio and then put him in a shot where they have under a pool. Also, all those bubbles could be real. So a lot of that stuff is really just high production value. But what I'm going to do is show you guys a few ways you can create this underwater scene just in After Effects. So there's two ways. One of them is going to involve the Red Giant plugin called Tsunami. So if you go into your effects and presets, if you go ahead and buy this, I'm going to link Red Giant down below. They have a website full of plugins. You probably know about them if you're on this channel, just because this is more towards intermediate and advanced users. If you go and download their effects pack, or if you want to download just this, I'll link that down below. This is called Tsunami. And that's a plugin where you can literally create water and render it out, and it looks really cool. I'm going to be using that way. There's also another way where you can just follow this tutorial that I'll link below. Tutorials where you can create like fractal noises to create that ocean floor, as well as a bunch of other different ways. I'll link those step-by-step tutorials, but I'm not going to cover that just because that's very time consuming. I'm going to be using this plugin. So if you guys are really serious about doing this, I recommend you look up how to get this plugin. Alright, anyways, let's go ahead and start building our scene. So I'm going to go over here to Layer. I'm going to click New, and then I'm going to click Solid. This pop-up box will be popping up here. My color is red. I'll just click OK. Once we've done that, we can take our plugin called Tsunami and drag that onto our solid just like this. So you're going to see that it has this really cool little generator thing for a plugin, and you can actually go through all these different presets and you can see all the different things that you can really generate. So this is a really useful plugin. I'm pretty sure they use a lot of this for actual like movies. So if you really are making a movie, you want something exactly like that, or a music video, and you want to invest in this plugin, I would highly recommend it. Definitely look up some other tutorials, because I'm obviously not an expert on this, but I'm going to show you guys what I did to be able to get that look. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to actually load in this preset right here. So click on presets, go to underwater, and then click the first one, Caribbean. And then we're just going to click go. So once that loads in, you're going to see it just gives us this nice Caribbean underwater scene. And now we're going to move this around just to be able to manipulate this the right way. Alright, so first things first, we're going to open up our render options. We're going to change one thing in here. Just make your gamma scale 0.75. Next, we're going to open up this little camera tab right here, and this is where you can really move around where the water is. So let me give you an example. Let me open up tilt, and let me just drag this. So say this is at 70 right now. If I make this 60, you guys are going to see that this actually moves down whenever you create it 60. I can even keep going like that and make it 40. So this is getting closer to like the surface of the water. We don't want that. We want it to be further away because we want to create like this nice underwater scene. So for this, I'm actually going to make it around 91 and then see what that looks like for the tilt. And that's actually looking pretty good. That's exactly what we want, just kind of like touching the surface of it. And like I said, depending on your clips, you can really change around any of these settings. This tutorial is kind of different from my other ones because I'm really just teaching some techniques, but a lot of this is just going to be based off your footage and based off your own creativity, based off you changing around the settings and creating something that you think looks good. This is probably one of my more advanced tutorials, so this is really based off your own kind of experimentation and what you can create. I'm just showing you the tools and pointing you in the right direction. Okay, so next I'm going to click on pan. I'm going to make that 68%, and that's going to move that over to the right corner of the screen right around here, which is looking good. Alright, so that's looking good. Let's open up the primary waves tab next. I'll close this just so you guys don't get confused. Let's go ahead and bump our wind speed up to around 6.5. And all that's going to do is really just make the water so that it's flowing a little bit faster. We're also going to make the coarse grid size around 2. So next we're going to come over here to this light 1 tab. We're going to actually come over here to light elevation, and we're just going to make that 70%. That's just going to lift it up a tiny bit right around here just so that it's a tiny bit darker, and that's actually starting to look good. So that water looks fine. I'm going to add one more little effect. This is actually optional, but if you do have the trap code shine plugin, I talked about it in my Young Lean effects tutorial. Drag that onto red solid. I'll leave a link to trap code shine below. It's also a red giant thing. What you can do from this is if you actually go to colorize and make this and you make the colorize none, and then you come to source point. If you zoom out a little bit and you make your source point around here, you can make the light rays really anywhere you really want them so that it's kind of shining down, if you can see that. And then I'm going to bump up my ray length just a tiny bit around there, and then I'm also going to go to shimmer, make the amount of shimmer 50%, and then make the detail. And that just adds some nice light rays coming from the sky just to make it more realistic. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we actually have this water scene above our footage, so we're going to want to blend it so that it looks like he's underwater. You might be able to try and mask it and just put him in front of here. I think that wouldn't look as good. I actually just put this on color dodge, so you can mess around with the blending modes just to get something nice, but I thought color dodge looked the best. Once you put back your color grading from Premiere over this, it's going to look really good. And not just that kind of like that dull like pond water. It's going to look like it's really underwater. Alright, that's perfect. So now all I'm going to do is just clean this up a little bit and then apply those bubbles coming out of his mouth just to really sell it perfectly. So as you see here, what I did was I shot this in front of a white background, so you can see kind of the wall right here. There's a few ways you can get rid of that. You could have shot in front of a green screen and just have it in the background, or what you could do is you can apply kind of like a color key effect, get rid of whatever color is behind him. What I'm actually going to do is actually like the color of the wall that is behind him, this nice white wall. The only thing I'm going to do is just smoothen out these bumps, so it's actually very simple to do that. What I'm going to do is actually just Command C, Command V on this, so we have a duplicate of our bottom clip, and then we're going to make a mask just like this around him. If you click M, you can see where that mask looks like. And then what I'm going to do is click on our bottom clip, and then I'm going to come up to Effect, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and what that's going to do is we can actually add just some blurriness. And as you see right here, if I zoom in, it's just going to blur out these rough edges and make it like it's really nice and underwater. And if you see here, this is where the mask is. If you want this to not be as rough, you can just come into your mask settings right here and just adjust the feather a tiny bit, and you'll see that that'll go away. And if your subject is moving around like him, you might have to actually keyframe the mask just by clicking this mask path. Since, like I said, this is an advanced tutorial, you guys should know how to do keyframes by now. So I'll link you guys to some of my other tutorials if you guys don't for some reason. But like I said, if he does come out of the mask path, this is what you'll see where it's blurring outside of the mask. So what you can do is just click this and then just make sure that's all keyframed and that it's all ready to go. Alright, so that's looking good. So here's what that looks like just through After Effects. Now all we have to do is just add those bubbles, and then that finalizes this tutorial. So what I'm going to do to get these bubbles is I'm going to head over to our website. So to be able to get these bubble effects, just go and head over to the link that I put in the description. It'll take you to this website right here. This is called Production Crate. They have a bunch of really useful resources. They have a bunch of free stuff as well as premium stuff if you choose to do that. They're actually sponsoring this video, so make sure you guys show some love. And I talked about them before with my fire tutorial. I'll link that below if you'd like to check that out. It talks about 3D tracking a lot. That you can see right here: fire, sparks, explosions, lens flares, sound effects, music. These are definitely one of the few people that have approached me that I genuinely really like and really find use and value in the thing that I'm promoting, so definitely go check them out. Alright, so I'm just going to download a few of these little bubbles here just to be able to use in here. There's a few free ones, like I said, as well as these underwater bullet trails. They look pretty cool. So just go ahead and download whatever you'd like to use. Head over into After Effects and then click on your project bin. So just go find wherever you download that and just drag that over into your project bin. I already have it imported, so I'm not going to do that now. Find where that is and just drag that into one of these layers right around here. Now all you guys have to do is just make sure you scale these down so that they fit wherever you would like to put them. Position them wherever you'd like. Change the blending mode however you'd like. Place these however you would want them to. You can even make them coming out of his mouth just to make it really more realistic, like he is underwater like this. So to do this, you can just apply a simple keyframe just by going into Transform, clicking the keyframe for position, and then as you move along this clip, drag the bubbles to be near his mouth so that it looks like it's coming out of his mouth. But anyways, guys, that's the basics behind how you can create this underwater scene, from the lip syncing of it to create that slow motion, like dreamy underwater performance. Also, how you can color grade your clip, how you can key out your clip or remove the background from your clip, or do what I did with just the blending, how you can create that underwater scene using either a plugin or just by using After Effects. Check out all the relevant links in the description down below. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is probably one of my most advanced ones, but I hope you guys followed along from this. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you'd like to see next in the comment section down below. And thank you guys for watching.